Hey everybody, good morning and welcome to the first ever 262 Fishing Friday Forum. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I've been releasing my fishing videos every Tuesday at 2 o'clock Central Time. Well, I'm taking the channel to the next level. We're going to be doing 2 videos every week. We're sticking with Tuesdays for the fishing videos, and Friday we'll be doing the 262 Fishing Friday Forum, where I'll be doing tackle reviews, rod and reel reviews, tips and tricks about fishing, and if there's any news, whether it's local here to Waukesha County or around the country about fishing, we'll be talking about that here. Now, I'm calling this the Friday Forum, which means I'm hoping to get some good conversation going. So make sure you're commenting down in the comment section so we can get that conversation going. So this actually is a forum, but let's not waste any more time. With this being my first Friday Forum video, I'm going to tell you what I think a good first fishing setup would be for a beginning fisherman. So if you are completely new to fishing and you're looking on YouTube for advice and information about how to get started, it's a great resource, but there's a ton of information and it's really in depth sometimes and it can be overwhelming. This video right here is meant to be a basic starter video for your first setup for fishing. And to demonstrate that, I have one of the first rod and reel setups that I ever owned as a kid. This rod and reel was given to me as a birthday present when I was about 12 years old. It was given to me by my older brother, and it still fishes great. I still use it on a regular basis. And the point of this is to show you, you don't need extremely expensive and fancy gear. You can stay with the basics and still have a great time. And we'll get started by talking about this rod and reel. This is a basic Zebco adventure spinning reel. When I'm looking at the rod, I don't even see how heavy of a rod it is. Just based on my experience, I'm pretty sure it's either a light or a medium light rod. It's only about 6 feet and it's a basic spinning reel. But this rod and reel combo has gotten me a ton of fish and given me a ton of enjoyment, and it was probably only about $30 at the time, and it's held up great and it's been a blast. Now, you don't necessarily need this Zebco adventure rod and reel. You can go to your local farm and fleet, or fleet farm, depending on which side of that debate you're on, or Walmart, or any basic store that carries basic fishing tackle, and you should be able to find a decent rod and reel setup for under $50. Most of the time, they'll have line on it already. Usually it's going to be fluorocarbon line, probably in the 6 to 8 pound range. But if you're looking to get the best line possible on a budget without breaking the bank, I recommend going with the all-time standard, the Berkley Trilene, and I really like the 6 pound test. But if you're just getting into fishing, you're probably not necessarily targeting giant fish. Yes, we'd all like to catch them, but you're probably going to be starting off with panfish, maybe small bass. 6 pound test line gives you a good option for a decent amount of strength for most of the fish you'll be catching, and also it's a thin line. I don't even know if it's showing up. It looks like it's showing up on the camera, but when you get it underwater, 6 pound test is nice and thin. It becomes almost invisible in the water, and it's harder for the fish to see it. Now, you can go with other lines as well. There is monofilament line, there is braid line, but fluorocarbon I have found to be the most forgiving for beginning fishermen and women, and a great place to start for your line. So you have your rod and reel picked up, you have your line spooled on there. Now, what do we do as far as lures? Well, again, it's best to just keep things basic. One of the first lures I ever fished was one of these guys right here. This is a Mepp's Aglia size 2. I'll see if I can get that to focus in there. It's just a basic inline spinner. It doesn't really want to focus right now, but you get the idea. This is one of the first lures I've ever fished. And it's a great lure to start because all you got to do is throw it out in the water and reel it back in, and it catches fish. Now Mepp makes a variety of different sizes. This happens to be a size 2, which is good for smaller bass. They also make smaller sizes in a size 0 or a 1. They market these as trout lures, but they're also phenomenal for panfish. And they have sizes as big as 4 and 5, which you can use for bigger bass or northern or any larger species. You could even go crazy and throw a Mepp 5 and try and catch a muskie if that's what you're into. Just make sure you have a steel leader for all of those toothy creatures. Now, in addition to a wide variety of sizes, Mepp has a wide variety of, I guess we'll call them shapes. They do have the standard, and as long as we're still talking colors, this is a Black Fury, which is a very popular color. This one happens to be an orange, but they also have other bright colors like chartreuse or green, and they're neon colors over a black. That's a very popular option. But they also have what they refer to as the Mepp Comet, and it's basically like a little swim bait or a glide bait with the blade in front of it, and it just gives you a little bit different of a presentation. But one of my absolute go-tos as a kid, and I really should get back into it, is this guy right here. It's just a red and white Mepp size 1. Again, when I was a young kid, before I was even a teenager, this is one of the biggest lures I fished, one of my favorite lures, and it caught me a ton of small bass, a ton of panfish, and at that time, I was a beginning fisherman. I didn't care necessarily how big the fish was, I just loved catching fish, and that was a great lure to do that. So to put it all together, using one of these inline spinners, I recommend tying on what's often referred to as a barrel swivel or a snap swivel. Let's see if I can get that to focus. This does two different things. Number one, if the blade's spinning around and it happens to get stuck on some weeds and the weeds stop the blade, your barrel swivel will still allow the bait to spin freely without twisting up your line. That's one fantastic advantage of it. The other one is if you want to change your lure, you don't need to retie this. You can just unclip it, grab the new lure that you want, clip it back on, and in a matter of seconds, you're good to go with your next lure. So that's what I would recommend for a good beginner setup, a basic rod and reel combo, some good line on there, and a simple lure to throw and retrieve without having to put a lot of effort into it, but still giving you a great opportunity to catch fish so you learn to really love the sport as a beginner. As I said, I want this to be a forum, which means I need conversation from you guys. So drop a comment down below. Tell me what your first fishing setup was. And if you could go back and do it all over again, what would you change for your first setup? And if you are completely new to fishing, whether it's bass fishing or anything else, I'll put a link in the description to a variety of different Mepp inline spinner combos. I'll also have links down there to good fishing line for beginners, a good rod and reel combo for beginners, and if you use the link down in the description, it helps me out too because I am now officially an Amazon affiliate, which means I get a small portion of any sales from those links. So do me a favor by doing yourself a favor, use the links below to pick up some products. And because this 262 Fishing Friday forum is new to me, let me know what topics you'd like to see me cover. Tell me in the comments section and I'll be sure to cover them as well. Of course, make sure to hit the red bell down below to subscribe. Push the bell next to it to get notifications when I put my videos out. And as always, folks, remember, it doesn't matter if you go around the world or go around the corner, just as long as you go fishing. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the water.